All right, it is Tuesday, February 27. It's 9:45 in the morning on the West Coast. And as you can see here, I had a 1 and 2 day. It was a red day, and I only traded one account today. And so I was 1 and 2 on that account. And, you know, I lost 1,500 on the account. But the reality is I lost $14.70 on the evaluation. I just purchased it this past weekend on Sunday for the 90% discount. And, today was interesting, right on the heels of my 8-0 day yesterday that I was really happy with and excited about the potential for what I could do to continue on that path. And, the market has a way of always humbling you when you get too excited about something. And I think I took it measured yesterday. I realized that a day like this can certainly happen. I talked about it yesterday. And, when I got the charts up and running today, if you go back and watch my live stream, which, by the way, I do have a live stream every day between 9:45 and 12:30, usually on the East Coast. I ended early today because of the way the day was going. But if you go back and rewatch my live stream, you'll see that I mentioned multiple times right at the beginning of the stream how today was one of those days where I couldn't find good charts. I had to go through so many different size tick charts to find any that I was even willing to consider trading. And it was completely the opposite of like a day like yesterday where I was 8-0. Yesterday, when I turned on the charts, it was within a minute that I found 4 great charts that all looked good. And I didn't really have to do much searching beyond kind of my first usual charts that I check. And it resulted in an 8-0 day. And it was, looking at the charts, I was able to have a lot of confidence because they all seemed like they were in alignment with each other. They just all were working together in the same places. And it seemed like, okay, this is going to be a great day to trade. And the result was an 8-0 day. Today was the exact opposite. Today, I turned on the charts and I was searching and searching and searching for charts. And I couldn't find any charts that didn't have at least one loss. And the interesting thing about today's charts were that the loss was like right at the open of the market or right before the open of the market on most of the charts. And it's funny because in my live stream, I was saying that it seemed like the charts weren't in alignment. But actually having some time to think about it, I actually think it's actually the opposite, that the charts were in alignment, that today was not a consistent day for the strategy. And a lot of the charts had losses in very similar places of the chart. And so eventually, after looking and looking and looking, I found 2 charts that had no losses for the day. And then I went with 2 charts that had 1 loss on the day that I tried to look for, at least the loss was earlier. But at the end of the day, you see the results. I was 1 and 2 today, and I did blow up an evaluation. So I have 9 active accounts left, as you can see. And I still have one other evaluation that I bought on Sunday for the 90% off, which is a 50K account. It's funny. When I took my first loss, which is this chart that's up right now, I didn't feel too bad about it. I wasn't surprised. I already talked about on my live stream that, very well could be one of those days or one of these days. And it wouldn't surprise me if, I got some losses. And that's actually why I decided to go with an account that had no trades on it yet. Because to me, it was the account that meant the least to me. And so I was willing to take a loss on it. And then, of course, when my first trade was a loss, I decided to not go along with what my original game plan was, to take a trade win or loss and move on to the next account. I decided to just stay on the one evaluation, because to me it felt like, okay, I paid $14.70 for this evaluation. It's clearly, my charts are showing me that it's not a great day for trading. And I felt like the odds were higher today that I would pick up a couple losses. And so for that reason, I said, okay, I'm willing to risk my $14.70 I just spent to get this account rather than risk getting a loss on one of my PAs or getting a loss on one of my evaluations that are much closer to passing. And I think it was a good decision. My second trade actually was a win. And so, there is the argument to be made, well, I could have made progress on a different account towards a goal. But just based on how the day looked, the way the charts looked, the fact that I picked up a loss on my first trade, I just decided it was better to just stick with evaluation 34. And I was either going to bring it back by going on a string of wins, and I would just take them all on the same account, or what would happen is eventually what did happen, which is I would pick up a second loss, and debatable if whether a second loss would blow up the account. But when I show you the trade, you'll see I moved my stop for a reason, because after my entry, it looked like the entry bar was going to get engulfed on the next candle, or the signal bar was going to get engulfed on the candle of my entry. So I moved it lower, and it would have been a loss no matter what I did. It actually blew up the account before I think it even hit the stop loss, if I remember correctly, but maybe it happened at the same time. I don't know. But essentially, 2 losses was all it took to blow up the account today. And I'm okay with that. I'm much happier, again, losing the $14.70 in the evaluation today than actually picking up another loss on a different account and setting a second account back. Today, because I hadn't traded this account before, and it was the first, I can do it on this. Because I hadn't traded this account before, it was the first day I traded it, and the fact that I blew it up today, it really, to me, honestly feels like I just had a 0-0 flat day, because this account didn't mean anything to me. It wasn't like I put work into it already and then lost all my work. It wasn't like it's a PA account that was near, a payout or an evaluation that was near passing. So it really just felt like a scratch account. To me, it felt like, okay, I can see that it's not a great day, and I was willing to risk the account to try the day and see if I can make something happen, and it just didn't. So I'm not feeling any sort of way about it, honestly. It's actually the greatest I've ever felt after blowing up an account. I can't say I've really felt this way before. And it's all based on my new take of, I know some accounts are going to get hit, and I'm willing to sacrifice like one of them for the better of the rest, and that's kind of how this felt to me today. It was like, okay, I wanted to trade today. I really wanted to see how this would play out in a scenario like this, where, I'm taking every entry now based on good charts. But what about when the day's just not very good, and most charts aren't very good, but I've happened to found some decent ones, what's going to happen? And I got the answer today. I don't know if it'll always be this way. I think it just as likely as it was I picked up my second loss and blew the account. I think it was just as likely that I could have picked up the first loss and then picked up 5 wins in a row. You just don't know. But the next thing I'll say that I like about what I did was when I did blow up this account, when I did blow up this account and I saw that all of my charts at the same time got that same loss on the second loss. So I didn't have any more clean charts anymore. I like my decision. I didn't look for more charts to trade today and try to keep going. I just made a really easy decision that, okay, today wasn't going to be a good day for my strategy, and it's not really worth looking for more charts and taking the risk on more accounts. Just shut it down and wait for a better day. Tomorrow will be a better day, hopefully. And if not, I'll handle it in a very similar fashion where, I'd be willing to risk account 35, which was $16.70 to buy it for the 90% off. And I would do the same thing again. If I blew this account tomorrow, I wouldn't feel bad. I still have all these other accounts that are in good shape, and none of them would be affected if I traded that way. If the same scenario played out again back to back. And at the end of the day, I still believe that I'll have more days like yesterday and Friday and Thursday last week where I'm 6-1, 7-1, 8-0, than days like this where I'll be 1-2 and run out of good charts and all the charts look bad and end up having to stop for the day early. So the last thing I'll say before we take a look at the trades I took today is just it's a good thing that I have the discipline to stop trading, because I'm now, I had to when I stopped trading, I had to go get my daughter ready for school and bring her to school myself. So I actually was able to get away from the computer for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And now that I'm back, I see that these charts all have picked up additional losses. So if I were to try to keep going on any of these charts that I had up, I would have just suffered more losses on more accounts. So I really did the right thing. I feel like this is all part of what my strategy is, and it is part of my edge. And today I was able to take advantage of it. And yes, I blew up an account and had 2 losses, but I did it in a smart way where I'm not affecting multiple accounts or accounts that were in good shape. It's very strategic in terms of how my Apex accounts here are affected. And I think that's important, especially having multiple accounts using Apex. This is why I'm not copy trading. I don't want to blow up 2 or 3 or 4 or all of my accounts at the same time on one bad day. So the idea typically is that I wouldn't be able to blow up any single account on a given day because I wouldn't take 2 losses on the same day. Now today, I decided I'd rather blow up an account and take 2 losses on the same account than get 2 losses on 2 accounts. So that was a decision I had made, and I feel good about it. And so it's great to be able to walk away from a day like today, a red day, with 2 losses, where I lost an account, and to not feel like I'm beating myself up or upset or, feeling down on myself or feeling like I can't do it, which is what used to happen on, a day where I'd blow up an account like this. So, blowups are going to happen. Again, for anyone that hasn't watched me before, my inspiration is Alpine Trader. If anyone watches him, he blows up all kinds of accounts, evaluations and PA accounts. And this is how he looks at it. And I kind of, I've taken that mentality from him and applied it to my own trading, and it's helping me. It really is. It's helping me to just mentally be in the right place, that I can come back tomorrow and not be affected by this today. And I won't be afraid to take a trade. I'll take a trade one after another, just like I did yesterday. And if it's a good day like yesterday, then I'll have good results. And if it's another bad day like today, maybe I blow up another account. But the great thing is that I'm going to be managing these accounts, and that's me managing my risk, is managing the overall accounts. And I feel good about it. I like it. So let's take a good look at the trades real quick. And an update on the 80% discount and the 1-day pass. There were some rhythmic outages, I guess, towards the end of the day yesterday. Apex, I gotta say, they always stand behind their traders. And I've never seen any other company or heard of any other company do it the way Apex does it. So anyone that had blown up accounts yesterday or had red days, they were erasing all the losses from yesterday and bringing the accounts back to the previous day's account balances. And I think it's regardless of it, even if it was in the window of time that they had the problems. If you blew up your account yesterday, most likely you're getting your account back today, or if they haven't done it by today, they're doing it soon. So because of that, they've also extended the 80% discount and the 1-day pass now through next week on March 4th on Monday. So, I think that's really great that they do that. It's not the first time I've seen them do something like that. And, they didn't have to continue the 1 day pass. They certainly didn't have to continue the 80%. And, I really thought they were just going to maybe add one additional day for the 1 day pass only and not the 80%. So not only did they extend it, but they extended it more than 1 day, and they extended both. So that's pretty cool. So if anyone's looking for evaluations to buy from Apex, 80% is the current discount through March 4th. And the 1 day pass will continue through March 4th as well. So you can pass evaluations in as little as 1 day or in as many days as you need. So, and let's just go over, when I started off the day, I don't know what I did. I guess I erased my weekly stats from yesterday. So it said 0, and then it was just the same as today. I must have been tired. But I updated it right at the end of the live stream. And so now you can see I was 1 and 2 for the day. And then after my 8-0 day yesterday and 1 and 2 for today, I'm now 9 and 2 for the week. So here I am on the second day of the week. I've already taken 11 trades, which, I mean, the bulk of them were from yesterday, obviously taking 8 trades, but, I'm on pace for about 20 trades this week. And to me, that's a good thing. And it's funny, today feels like a bad day, 1 and 2, 33%. But when you look at the bigger picture, I fall right back into what the average has been for me trading the system, which is 9 and 2, 82%, and 94 and 22 overall now for 81%. So, there's nothing to be upset about. One bad day, it's a blip. And all right, let's now get into the trades for the day. Let's take a look here. All right, so by the time I did get all the charts up that I felt comfortable using for the day, I believe it was about 6:55, somewhere in here, that I got the stream started, so almost 7 o'clock. And I took the first trade that I saw for the day, which was this one, and it got a loss. Now, I know for anyone that isn't aware of how I'm trading, I'll just quickly say it again. I'm looking for charts that I can see my entries are all working for my profit target, and those are the charts that I'm trading. And I'm looking for them to be all working from the open of the previous day for this session. So the 3 p.m. on the West Coast open, which is 6 p.m. East Coast. And I'm not looking for what individual setups look like. I don't care. I was able to get an 8-0 day yesterday, not based on individual setups, but based on the chart itself and whether the chart is working. So this first chart did have one loss. As I mentioned, I couldn't find charts really that had no losses until I went to the larger time frames. And this one isn't a particularly small time frame, but it did have one loss back here, like right at the open. And I think it was above this candle, and then it failed. And so, you might say, why would you take this? You have a bullish bar and you're trying to enter below it. And again, it's not about the individual setup anymore for me. I'm not trading by any real rules other than what my current strategy is. And I'm just taking every entry that I can, every second entry. And so this was a second entry, and I took it, and it didn't work out. I've already talked about the reasons why, how the day was on the charts. And, it really didn't faze me. I took the loss. I actually was getting ready to move the stop loss in case it got engulfed, because at one point it looked like it might get engulfed. I was going to move it above here. Again, willing to risk the entire evaluation, but it didn't engulf, so I moved it here. And you can see on the next bar, it took me out. And so then I moved on to my second trade on another chart. Again, I won't trade a chart after it takes a loss. So a lot of times a second loss will come after that. So then I moved on to this chart. All right, so here you can see, it's not too much later, you can see the marks of the first trade that lost. And so this is just a slightly larger chart. and set up not too much later. Let's see, I was out of the trade at 7:19, and I was in this trade at 7:26. So 7 minutes later, this one I did pick up a win. Again, I talked about this. I chose to trade the same evaluation again. So I got some back from the first loss. I was up plus 15 ticks on this one. Yeah, it would have been great to pick up 15 ticks on another evaluation and progress it. But I just wasn't sure that this wouldn't be a loss right behind this one. And quite frankly, I wasn't surprised when I switched to the next chart for my third trade and picked up a loss. So let's check out that trade. All right, so here's the third chart that I went to for my third trade. And again, you can see I was out of this, in and out of this at 7:24. And my next trade I was in at 7:36, so about 10, 12 minutes later. And this was an engulfing entry. And, if I was trading according to my rules, I definitely wouldn't have taken the first trade or this trade. The second trade didn't look too bad, but here, let's go back to that actually. The second trade was where? Or the first trade, the first trade, going back to the first trade real quick. So obviously I wouldn't take this trade if I was trading according to any rules. Then the second trade was here. So the second trade, not bad. I like that it was playing off the resistance of the opening price, 2 clear legs up, but it looks like engulfing. So I don't, my rules were to stop taking engulfing trades. So I don't think I would have taken this trade, or perhaps I would have. This is the one that maybe I would have taken if I was playing by any sort of rules. And then trade number 3 that we were just looking at. Again, another engulfing and trading long right into the opening price that has been some resistance. So if I was applying any rules, I certainly couldn't have taken the first trade. I probably couldn't have taken the second trade, and I definitely wouldn't have taken this trade. So maybe I would avoid losses on a day like today and avoid blowing up this account today. But if I'm trading by any rules, then you can't pick and choose which entries you're going to trade by a rule and which entry you're not going to trade by a rule, because just the nature of it, you're going to just trade by the rules for all your entries. So on a day like yesterday, if I was trading by my rules, I wouldn't have taken any trades. There was not a single trade. Maybe one actually comes to mind. There might have been one trade I would have taken out of the 8. And so maybe I would have been 1-0 yesterday instead of 8-0. So instead of improving 8 accounts, I would have only improved 1 account. And then today, maybe I would have not blown up an account and taken 2 losses. But am I really any different from where I was yesterday from my 8-0 day today? No, I affected an account that I didn't even trade yesterday and hadn't been traded before and had no profit yet. So it's really a wash. So I'm good with it. I feel good about it. You can see here's the market here. So on these larger charts, there's not a whole lot of price action. And I did move the stop here because that's the other thing I was going to talk about. It looked like this was going to engulf right up until the moment before the candle closed. So because of that, I had moved the my stop loss here. Now it turns out that when it got stopped out, and I guess it did stop out underneath that, but it happened to coincide with when the account was going to blow up. I didn't know that going in, but it makes sense to move it under the previous swing, not necessarily over here anyway. And obviously my drawdown wouldn't have been able to sustain it regardless if I tried to move it below this one. And there was just no wiggle room trading 2 contracts. After a loss already, I had, I think about 800 in drawdown, something like that, if I remember correctly. So just no wiggle room entering the trade with 2 contracts, that there wasn't even any room to like even think about buying an extra contract and trying to like get a few ticks to give it more room, like how Alpine would do it. But you can see the idea was there, because even though it went a little bit further down, it eventually did go up high enough that if I had more drawdown, the scalp would have been able to be gotten if not just accepting the loss there. And I knew it was that kind of day, so I was thinking, okay, let's see if I could survive if it will hold above this area. It didn't happen for me today, but I'm, like I said, I'm willing to blow up evaluations, especially evaluations that haven't been traded yet. So nowhere near the profit target since it hadn't been traded. It's fine. So, all right, this is already a 25-minute long video, longer than I ever intended it. It didn't need to be this long, but thanks for checking out my videos. Check out my live stream. You can see how these trades played out live. Disappointing day, yes, but just really has no effect on the big picture for me. All of my profits from yesterday stayed intact from my 8 wins for the week, and it's just inconsequential, right? Like, that's the thing that I think is great about today. And I got 9 accounts to continue trading. This account will come back in a month. It'll be renewed and reset. And in the meantime, I've got 9 active accounts to work on, getting very close to payout on this account. And some of these up here are getting closer to passing for PAs. So I'm still on the journey. I'm still headed in the right direction despite today. And hopefully tomorrow will be more like yesterday and less like today. So again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you are enjoying watching this content, where you can see me win or lose, and see all the balances, all the P&Ls, all the drawdowns, the threshold values, all my stats, and everything exposed. And I don't take any trades not on stream, and there's no trades ever taken that aren't in the review and aren't in the stream. And everything is just out there to document what happens. Days like this aren't fun to put out there, but it's just part of the trading process. And I think the key is to just not let any single one day affect how you feel and affect your trading. I think that's like the biggest problem traders have, is they take a loss, it affects them, they start revenge trading, taking bad trades, and before you know it, not only do they blow one account, but they blow many accounts, and accounts that were in good standing, accounts that they were near getting a payout. And it's much better to do it this way. So I think that's it. I think I've said it all, and I will be back at it tomorrow. Again, don't forget about the discount continuing to March 4th. And I'll be streaming tomorrow morning sometime between 6:45 a.m. to 7 on the West Coast, which is 9:45 to 10 on the East Coast is when I start. And let's see what happens tomorrow. Hope you had a good trading day, a better one than I did, and be back tomorrow. Bye.